Late drama in World Cup qualification. Xavi wants Thiago return. Chelsea plan January reinforcements and a transfer roundup all coming up in the next few minutes. As I'm your host, Matt Froelich, you are the One Footballers, and this is the Daily News. So first up, and there was loads of late drama in the World Cup qualification as many teams booked their place in Qatar for next winter. One of them being Serbia, ahead of Portugal with a dramatic last-minute winner from Alexander Mitrovic. It means that Cristiano Ronaldo and all the other Portuguese stars will have to face the playoffs next March if they're to head to the World Cup in 2022. And this really wasn't exactly going to plan. All they had to do was draw at home to Serbia, but like I mentioned, the in-form Fulham striker managed to grab another goal, unbelievably his 28th goal involvement of the season already, to make sure that the Serbs go through as group leaders. The same thing also goes for Spain, who defeated Sweden 1-0 with a late Alvaro Morata goal to take them through to the World Cup. And on top of this, Fedor Kudryashov had an absolute nightmare, a game to forget as Russia played off against Croatia. He scored an own goal for Russia in the 83rd minute, and it meant that Croatia ran out 1-0 winners and finished group leaders, and well, they're heading to the World Cup, whereas Russia have to face the playoffs. Not exactly the greatest weekend for the defender. It was a really unlucky own goal on a pretty terrible pitch, but Croatia finished top of the group. Elsewhere, and there are goals galore, with the likes of Harry Kane scoring a hat-trick and Kylian Mbappe scoring 4 goals against Kazakhstan. He is the first player since Jules for France to score 4 or more goals in a competitive match, and that happened in 1958. Fair to say, all of the French squad were not alive when that last happened. Anyway, Mbappe scored 4 of the 8 goals and got an assist, and it made sure that France, the World Cup holders, would be at the World Cup next winter. And on top of all of this, Enes Ali made absolute insane piece of history as he became the youngest ever international men's player in the senior game at just 15 years old, coming on for Romania against Liechtenstein. Next up then, and to some Barcelona transfer news, and well, the transfer rumour was going to be spinning because Xavi is back in charge and they've already made their first signing, that of Dani Alves. When we heard the rumours last week, I was thinking, yeah, this is quite a funny link. Xavi's coming back, why not bring back some of the old cast, including Alves? Didn't actually think it would happen, but here we are, and the 38-year-old has re-signed at the Camp Nou, and it looks like Xavi wants to bring back one more Barcelona player as well, in the form of Thiago. It's unfair to compare Dani Alves and Thiago, because Alves is at the end of his career, where Thiago, aged 30, has still got quite a few years left at the top. It's fair to say, though, his move from Bayern Munich to Liverpool hasn't exactly worked out spectacularly. I don't think he's been bad. He's certainly not been a flop. We just haven't seen the Thiago that we saw dominating and controlling matches like we did at Bayern Munich and at Barcelona as well. So it looks like Xavi wants to bring him back. The one problem is that he's going to cost a fair bit of money. There were rumours last week that Xavi only had around 10 million euros to spend from the board in the January transfer window. So unless they sell some players, they're probably not going to be able to afford Thiago, as he's got quite a few years left on his Liverpool contract. The one saving grace, though, is that if they manage to get to open talks with him, he'll probably be open to a move back to Barcelona, the club where he made his professional debut and came through the youth ranks. Next up then, and to Chelsea, always busy in the transfer market, and apparently there are 3 names on their list as they look to replace a few defenders who could be leaving at the end of the season. The Blues Chiefs are well aware that the likes of Andreas Christensen and Antonio Rudiger have yet to sign new contracts. Apparently there's not too much stress as they don't look to be leaving anytime soon, but they have got their deals running out at the end of the season and nothing new has been penned. So who are they looking to replace them with? Well, there's 2 names on the list. The first is Jules Koundé. The Sevilla defender was linked with the club last summer, but they didn't quite manage to get a deal done as they didn't want to pay the release clause the defender has at Sevilla. And on top of this, talking of big money, the other name is Matthijs de Ligt. They're going to have to spend a lot of money to get him out of his Juve contract, which at the moment earns him £280,000 per week. So if you look at the fact that he'll probably move to a new club, Mineiro will probably want a pay rise for his client. Chelsea will be spending over £300,000 per week just on him. Never mind whatever Jules Koundé wants as well, and never mind the fact that they're also looking at an attacker in Lorenzo Insigne. Now, his contract runs out at the end of the season, so they could get him on a cheap deal in January or wait until the end of the campaign to sign him up when they're free. This will certainly help the Chelsea attack, which without Romelu Lukaku hasn't exactly been in the greatest of form, and they can't exactly rely on fullback Reece James to continue to contribute goals and assists for the whole season. It's great when he does, but it's hardly plan A. Next up then, a quick roundup of all the day's news and transfer news that you might have missed. And Chelsea, talking of them, are actually set to battle Real Madrid, who are currently favourites for Monaco midfielder Aurelien Tchouameni. Next up, and Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has had talks with Rangers about about replacing Steven Gerrard, who of course joined Aston Villa as manager last week. Next up, Napoli are looking to make the loan deal that they've got for Fulham midfielder Andre Frank Zambo-Anguissa a permanent one in the next transfer window. And lastly but not least, today Norwich have confirmed that former Aston Villa manager Dean Smith will be their new manager. Right then, let's move on to your Friday feels. This is where you guys left your football league predictions and the daily news on Friday, and quite a few of you got some of them correct. The first one is Sharia Shah, who guessed that Argentina would be 1-0 victors over Uruguay. Angel Di Maria getting on the score sheet for Argentina. Next up is Bryce Clay, who correctly predicted a draw between Italy and Switzerland. And lastly but not least, Chuy Suarez. What a great name that is. Correctly guessed that Zambia would be winners, with Leicester's Patson Daka getting on the score sheet, and he did, although Fashion Sakala stole the show with a brilliant hat-trick. Finally then, we come to Emoji Mondays. This is where we at OneFootball throw a couple of emojis down over some of the weekend's hottest action. And first off, the best player, of course, goes to Kylian Mbappe. It was a record-breaking performance in the 8-0 victory over Kazakhstan. He grabbed 4 goals, got an assist, and Ligt gave him a famed 10 out of 10 for his performance. The crazy moment definitely goes to Andorran forward Cuckoo, who got himself sent off in the Andorra versus Poland match after just 10 seconds. The game started, they pumped the ball forward, he decided to elbow Kamil Glick in the face and got a red card, fully deserved. Things are going to be difficult enough as it is against Robert Lewandowski in Poland, and obviously it's made a lot worse when you go down to 10 men after just 10 seconds. And lastly but not least, the best result of the weekend, of course, does go to Serbia, a stunning 2-1 victory over Portugal, booking their place at next year's World Cup. That's all from me then. Make sure you check back tomorrow for loads more OneFootball content.